All right, I only have about 40 minutes, but I'm going to try to get in a round of Phoenix Point. I think I've got a save that I can use. Yeah, okay. So, Phoenix Point is it's a new XCOM style game. It's actually made by, I think, by at least one of the creators of the original XCOM. And it's got about the same concept. It's not aliens from outer space. It's, I think, mutants from the ocean. But, you know, same difference, right? And you can see it works a lot like XCOM in that you've got a world map. You've got a base, which I think is here. And you've got all of these locations where stuff might be happening out in the world. There's also factions that you can befriend and get some kind of benefit from. I am a new player to this game, so I'm definitely not. If you came here looking for an expert to tell you everything about Phoenix Point, that's not me. I am a newbie trying to figure out what is going on. So here is my little spaceship, or whatever, airship, that is full of my little soldiers. So I'm going to go over here and explore. Explore, I believe, looks at what's going on this node. Area scan, I think, helps me find more nodes around me. But yeah, let's go and explore, see what's here. There we go. Enter Synedrion, stage left. Okay, so I think Synedrion is one of the factions. Someone figured out that our open and democratic society would be easy to infiltrate and steal from, one of the Haven citizens tells our operatives. They pretended to join us, then made off with some critical research, which I assume they wanted to sell to another faction. The citizen sighs. I said they made off, but truth is they didn't get very far. In fact, they're stuck in the Haven. But as you can imagine, this is a strange situation. These people pretended to be our friends. They lived in Matuaka for months, and all just to make a profit. I suppose old habits die hard. We could assist Synedrion with this problem. All right. Sure, let's stop some thieves. All right, so this is my group of soldiers. Got them all dressed out. Let me see if I can remember how to... Can I mess with their inventory or anything here? Here, equipment. Okay, so these characters are a lot more flexible than the characters in, say, if XCOM, I think, has sort of become the industry standard for this style of game. So almost everything I do, I'm going to be comparing it to XCOM. In XCOM, you have sort of classes of characters that have very sort of consistent abilities, very narrow set of consistent weapons that they can use. And this game has a little bit more flexibility. The characters tend to be a little bit more freeform. The stuff they can have in their pockets tends to be more varied. And you've only got a limited amount of it. It's not like anytime you go into battle, you can carry 2 grenades. It's like, well, do you have 2 grenades? Did you use 2 grenades last time? You might have no grenades now. So it's a little bit more hardcore and detailed that way. But also, I mean, it takes more mental effort to keep track of what people have and manage them. And that's something I am not doing right now. I am not managing these characters. I'm going to deploy. Uh-oh, medikits do not restore any limb damage. Got to keep that in mind. So my general impression of Phoenix Point is that it is bringing in a lot of interesting ideas, a lot of them more hardcore than what you see in a game like in XCOM. But each time you add something like that, there's a cost. You know, the game becomes more difficult to learn. It takes a greater mental load to sort of manage it. And I think a lot of the effort and the focus went into these detailed mechanics that I'm sure like a large segment of the audience for this kind of game wanted, but you have to end up making sacrifices in other areas. And so this game is probably right up the alley of some players of XCOM and is probably a step in the wrong direction for some other players. But you know, that's sort of that is true of every game that enters a genre that already exists. So okay, so I've got my little squad of people here. I'm not sure where the enemy is. I'm not sure where a good place to go is. So I assume that they must be somewhere to the north left. So you see, this is a lot like XCOM in that you're sort of giving up more action points the further you want to go. Instead of just having two, like a move and an action or a double move, which is the very simple way that XCOM handles it, in this game you actually have a more granular number of action points that can be spent on a variety, on very flexible series of moves or on a variety of different actions. Again, it's more hardcore, but harder to sort of keep track of. Like for instance, by moving this character that far, I have exhausted all of their points. No, not all of them, but enough of them that I can't take any actions. However, this character
I'm on the move.
can move here and can perform actions, except there's no one to target. Oh, and this character, this is a largely melee-focused character, so there's nobody for them to hit anyway. If I switch them to their gun, then I can at least go into Overwatch mode. And then I really like this this Overwatch cursor, deciding how close you want an enemy to be before you will fire at them. So this is a pistol. I'm betting it has kind of a shorter range, so I'll say if an enemy comes into... Well, I mean, they're not going to be standing out here, are they? So maybe if they come out this door, then we'll shoot them.
Covering.
Then, number 3. This character's way back here. So, I want to move them into cover, so let's move them over here. And this character. It is a little bit harder for me to just read the visual differences between the characters and instantly connect with them the way I can with my XCOM characters. You notice that the cursor on the ground tells you what direction they have cover in each of these directions. Cover, I believe, is more complicated in this game because I don't know how it works under the hood. The game definitely gives the impression that cover is more accurately simulated in this game than it is in XCOM. In XCOM, it's basically you get, flat benefits from, if you've got cover in one direction, any enemy that is more in that direction from you has to deal with a flat benefit from your cover. In this case, I think the sort of shape and orientation of the cover, how much of your body is concealed, stuff like that, all of that I think ends up weighing in. And I'll show you what that means once, how that works once I get the opportunity to shoot at someone. And again, I don't know if what I'm perceiving about the way cover works in this game is accurate, or if it's just the game's doing a good job of giving me a false impression, but I'm definitely getting the impression. So, these are probably not good places to send my characters, but I'm also not super invested in this session, so it's okay. So once I've moved everyone as much as I want to, I hit end turn, and now we see what they do. Okay, so some people are there, there's somebody here. Nobody has tripped my Overwatch yet.
Enemy spotted.
So normally I'm fighting aliens. It's actually, this is the first time I've been fighting human enemies. One thing I really like is when I consider moving my character to different locations, it draws little lines to show me that I've got line of sight to and from different enemies. This is something that I wish I had in XCOM, is being able to tell, okay, if I go here, this is how many enemies I'll be able to reach. I think there's there's some sort of hidden way in XCOM to see that information, and I keep forgetting where it is. In this game, it just makes it automatic, which is pretty cool. So this character cannot move very far and still fire, because they're a sniper, and so each of their shots takes longer. But that's okay, because they already have 2 enemies to fire at. So let's... yes, just clicking this isn't enough to fire, so I actually have to hit the fire weapon button.
Ready to fire.
Choose which of the 2 targets I want. And look, it looks like my character might actually be switching shoulders depending on which one they're shooting at. So here's the part of the game that I find most fascinating. I can either just fire weapon, which means I'll fire at the middle of the character's body by default, no big deal. But if I decide to manually aim, I get to choose where I shoot. And, okay, so this is what the UX of the game is implying to me. And I don't know if this is true, but I feel like what it's saying is the trajectory of my shot is probably going to go in that lighter circle in the middle and might go into the broader circle. That's as far as it could go, is the broader circle. And so basically, it's going to randomly cast a line basically out there into somewhere in one of those circles. And so, for instance, if I want to shoot them in the head, there's a lot of nothing in the outer circle. And so there's a decent chance I might miss. But if I shoot somewhere like this, where the entire circle has got enemy body in it, a successful shot should be guaranteed. And I can also decide, like, I really want to hit them in the hand or whatever, and I can, aim over here. So let's try what I think should be a guaranteed shot and see if that's true. Well, it certainly hit them, so it didn't prove me wrong. And that's about all this character can do, unless I want to run them out of cover, which would be insane. So this character could get up here and be able to see that character, except this one will be able to get them from behind. There's a little bit of cover here and a lot of visibility. I think I might just go up there. Not as much cover as I'd like, especially from this guy, but...
Zooming in.
Okay, so notice how much bigger the circles are for this character than the sniper's character had. So, and zooming in, you'll see this is the same. It's actually going to be pretty hard to hit this character. And aiming at the head actually makes it less likely that I'm going to hit the character overall than aiming at the body. So I'm going to try aiming at the body and see what that does. Okay, I lucked out and I got him. So this gets, you'll notice, by the way, and I should have pointed this out while I was there, that the cover really mattered in that scenario. So let me, I should actually try some intentionally missed shots just to show how I think this works. Okay, so, this is, okay, let's see if I can get a little bit closer. That's kind of ridiculous. Can I get this close and still shoot? Looks like I can. I am way out in the open, though. Is there a better... Oh, okay, I can still shoot them here. So let's go that way. So now we aim manually. And, oh, man! No, that's a disaster! So I can sort of aim at their arm, but I'm betting my shot probably hits cover or misses them. Oh, but I shot several times. This character is an automatic weapon, and that's the benefit of an automatic weapon, is that you get to roll those dice a bunch of times. All right, so next, this character, yeah, to get closer and getting cover, I have to sacrifice my ability to shoot, which doesn't feel great. Can't hit anyone from here. So I think what this character is going to do is... What is this character going to do? I guess we'll move up. Now, this character is very exposed, but they're also very far away. And, you know, in this game, distance matters a lot, and so does minor cover. I mean, I think it's actually impossible to hit this character from here. So, I'm not going to try. But that character also can't shoot me unless they move. But then let's overwatch over here, so this character is unlikely to be able to come out of this door without causing themselves some problems. Yeah, that Overwatch cursor, though, is really easy to use. I like how natural that feels. So is that... oh, no, okay, yeah, this guy hasn't gone yet. Let's take aim. Okay, so this guy only gets one shot, so chances are this is not going to go well. Nope, I just hit another random thing that was in the circle. And I got one more character. Why do I keep... There, this one. Let's get a little bit closer and see if we can take this. And oh, wait. I thought I was moving into a position where I could see the enemy, but it looks like I did not move into such a position. So, cool. Well, let's see. If anyone moves into this area, we'll shoot them. And I think we're done. Enter. Action. See what these guys do. Okay, so that character went there and is overwatching, so I don't want to move out of cover. This character's shooting at this character, but looks like they missed. Oh. Overwatch got triggered. Nice to see that happen. Okay, so now my sniper has got a lot of options. I think they took out somebody in one shot last time, didn't they? If I can take someone out in one shot, I should try. So someone with full health. So let's give this a try. So it's giving me a summary of how much health they'll probably lose if we hit them in the head. And it looks like all of it. So let's try that. Oh. Oh. Apparently leaning out of cover gives you Overwatch problems. So, okay, it looks like I missed the head and just hit the body real hard. Let's see if we can finish the character off. So, oh, look, they got some serious arm damage. They're bleeding from their arm all over the ground. That's great. But that's it. That's it. No. Wow, you suck. You suck so much. Okay. So I think they only get one Overwatch shot each.
Advancing.
Yep, because they would totally have shot at me. So... Oh, come on. Getting so close. All right, this looks like I can hit everyone. Let's see if that's true. So this character's got, looks like a shotgun. So, but let's see, what happens if I aim in a way that gets both of these characters in the shot? Yep, I damaged both of them. So I just love how intuitive this it is. That, you know, that I can aim these shots, get a sense of the, you know, the chance of hitting different things within the circle, and it seems to play out kind of the way I expect. So I don't know if it actually is physically modeling the things that it feels like it's physically modeling, but so far the feeling of it has been really good. So moving up doesn't seem like a good option. So let's... So you take out their arm. I should try to take out their gun arm if I can. So did that actually do what I thought it did? No, it looks like the arm didn't take enough damage. Most of the damage went to the torso. So let's aim at their head this time. Oh, just shy. All right, I've got one character left with any action points. I'm pretty sure their aim is crappy. But this character has very little... Oh, wait. Oh, no, this is one shot with this gun. So I got to make it count. Let's get a little bit closer.
Engaging.
Oh, so now I can only see this one. Well, that made things worse. All right, let's give it a try. Okay, this gun is great. It's not hitting anything, but it's still great. Okay, they hit some piece of
Let's get moving.
environment. That guy's a little worried. Ow! All right, well, I can shoot somebody
Ready
from
to
here without
fire.
moving, so let's give that a try. In the head. Oh, missed. See, and that's the risk I took aiming at their head. If I'd aimed at their torso, that probably would have gone way better. So, and not just because of numbers, but because of, like, literal geometry, which I just really like. So, because this character cannot do enough damage to take this person out. So maybe I'll aim at their arm and see if I can make it harder for them to damage me. Their arm did take some damage. It looks like I can only take it all the way out if, like, every shot hits it, which seems unlikely. So let's just go for their torso. Get them as low as I can, and then maybe our buddy here could take him the rest of the way out. All right, let's get up here. Hey there, Death Crow. Thanks for joining. Aim. Oh, what? I thought... No! You know what? I forgot to check when I was choosing the spot. I forgot to check this character actually had line of sight on people. And it looks like they don't. So let's Overwatch. That was disappointing. I really want to see what happens when that really huge gun hits someone. Unfortunately, I might never see that. So this character can't really do much of anything. Just reload, I guess. So, yeah, let's, because this is my shotgun character, right? Looks like it is. So, let's get them a little bit closer. And now let's see. Oh, again, oh, I can't shoot through this window, huh? Let's just fire in that direction. So the nice thing about this free aiming thing is, like, I could just shoot at obstacles. I could shoot at, like, I don't have to specifically target a, like, the game doesn't have to support me directly targeting some piece of the environment. I can just shoot at the environment if I want to, if I see some value in that. So, oh yeah, like this person here. Stuff's in the way. Let's just take out some obstacles. Okay, so the only person I have left who can actually fire is this person. And if I run here, they will not be able to fire. You can tell because there's no line tracing. So I could move here and maybe take them out, but this makes me vulnerable to this guy. This says I can also hit this person, but it's straight through that obstacle, which is probably going to be weird. Let's try it anyway, though. All right, so let's aim.
Zooming in.
And, okay, it looks like if I'm lucky, I'll get just past this thing, but so little of this character fills up the frame that I'm betting I'm going to miss.
Hostile missed.
Yep. Okay, well, everybody is done. So what happens now? Guy runs
You're gonna get it.
and threatens me. How rude.
My turn.
Oh, ow. Okay, that's okay. All right. Everybody's out in the open to the sniper.
Firing target.
You're going down. Actually, that's the easier one to hit. Let's try to shoot the other one. Okay, and this time, instead of going for the head and missing, I'm going to try to aim in a direction where most of the circle is taken up by body. Oh, but not 100%. Not 100%, so did not go the way I wanted it to. Okay, so I want to get out of this little hole I'm in, because I don't think I can, I can't hit anybody from here. I don't think I can reach anywhere within my little blue area where I actually can hit someone. Oh, unless, you know what? I think I'm going to take him out this turn. So, putting this character at risk probably isn't too bad an idea. And I've got 6 shots, so I'm betting at least one of these things is going to hit. Oh my gosh. All right. So I've just got a little pistol here, but this character does not have a lot of health. But you know what? You can see that coming. So, okay. Let's see. Who can I hit? This character. Oh, but barely. This is 10 shots, though. There we go. Yeah, so that was 10 pellets coming out of that shotgun. I was just sort of betting with the odds that at least one of them would hit, and that character had very, very little health left.
Acquiring target.
This character's got 6 shots. I bet at least one of them hits. There we go. I think we're good. Is that the last one? Yes. Mission complete. All right, so we got a couple leveled up characters, got an injured character. I think we might actually have 2 injured characters. No, somebody took equipment damage, and I'm not actually sure what that is. I mean, I imagine it's damage to their equipment, but I don't know how it works.
Hi there. My name is Athena, and I'd like to thank you on behalf of Synedrion as a whole.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm being honest about our flaws, because I think, crazily enough, the whole thing works.
All right, yeah, I don't need
Then
payment.
you have our gratitude.
Yeah, they have a good attitude towards me.
Synedrion probably seems strange to you. Trying to build a better world. A world radically different from the one most of us grew up in. Well, I'm sure it sounds very utopian.
I'm gonna suck up to these guys.
I'm glad our values are aligned, at least in this matter.
Yeah, so basically most of the world has been destroyed by an invasion from the deep. And so each of these factions has a different vision of how they want to rebuild humanity. And we are the Phoenix Project, which is, a lot like XCOM, sort of a secret project designed to be ready for cases like this and to take back the Earth. And so I think our relationships with these different factions sort of determines which way the story goes. But the game also doesn't feel like it has a story. It feels a lot like it's like a game like Civilization or something where, there's factions out there, there are strategic actions you can take, and those strategic actions have meaning in the context of the world, but there isn't like a specific story being told, which has got, upsides and downsides. I mean, this is a problem that we contend with on State of Decay 2 as well, is that, our game only in the roughest sense has a story. It's mostly about sort of just simulating the zombie apocalypse and giving you stuff to do within that setting. And it's not really telling a step-by-step story, except in Heartland or, the original State of Decay had a step-by-step story. But, like, Breakdown and State of Decay 2 really kind of don't. And there's some good and bad things about that. Like, XCOM has a more defined story. There's a series of actions and of, like, milestones you need to hit, and they direct you towards those milestones pretty strongly. And there are, side missions and incidental missions and distractions, and there's, mechanical stuff you have to deal with along the way. But you always are very directed towards a particular goal at a particular time. And that really helps, especially with like early game motivation, like understanding how to move forward. That's very, very helpful. And I think it's one of the best things about the way that XCOM works is that you always feel like you've got a tangible goal immediately in front of you. In Phoenix Point, I don't really feel like I've got a tangible goal in front of me. I could do anything. And that sort of, I end up with sort of a paralysis of choice where I'm like, look at all these question marks. None of them seems more important than the other. And I don't have a strong sense of my needs or demands on my attention. And so I don't feel very motivated to go forward. And I understand that, like, there are a lot of people for whom State of Decay's limited storytelling also has that impact. Like, they want to have more of a story to hold on to lead them deeper into the game. And so what this is teaching me is that as we, sort of iterate on the State of Decay idea, what we might need is not necessarily a traditional open world story like you would get from, say, a Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption type game. But maybe what we need is something a little bit more like XCOM, where it's not about telling a extremely linear step-by-step, this happens after that type of story, but the gameplay is structured around a series of goals and events that together add up to a story, and you always know what's right in front of you. I think that we haven't done a good enough job of that with State of Decay, and I think that we would really benefit, just like I think Phoenix Point would probably benefit from it. We would really benefit from a stronger structure like that, because we sort of have it. Like, we've got, you've got to get a leader, you got to defeat the Plague Hearts, and you've got to complete your legacy. But that's very loose, and there's a lot of time in there where you're not really oriented directly on those goals, and it's definitely on the more open and muddy side of the experience. So anyway, when I play Phoenix Point, that's what it makes me think of in terms of like ways that we could improve on State of Decay. Yeah, and Deathcrow is agreeing with me about some of the limits of State of Decay 2. And I completely, basically anytime you make a decision about the structure of a game like that, you're making a trade-off. You're sort of accepting that that some people will have a worse experience in one way while other people have a better experience in a different way. And you don't always know exactly when you're making the decisions early on and you haven't built the game yet, you don't always know what those outcomes are going to be. And so you try your best to hit some kind of sweet spot. But sometimes, you'll hit it for some players and not for others. And depending on that proportion, your game might be less or more successful for a lot of your audience. And so, but it's really important to be open to that feedback and to sort of, to realize when you might need to shift one way or the other. So, it would take a lot of work to fundamentally change the structure of a game that's sort of already established, But at the same time, this is definitely not the end of the State of Decay franchise. And so we're going to have a lot of opportunities, I think, to think about, the way the structure has worked in the latest iteration. Are there ways we could iterate on it here in State of Decay? And are there, future games we could do where we learn a lot, from these lessons? But anyway, so that's the main lesson that I take from Phoenix Point. It's got a lot of really interesting ideas for adding detail and control and some nice, things that are either physically modeled or seem like they're physically modeled, experiences in the game that are very different from the sort of board game-like simplicity of XCOM. And for me, I think that my personal wavelength, like where I am as far as like my relationship to games, I probably am looking for something more like XCOM that has you making simpler, more straightforward choices with a board game-like set of rules, rather than a more simulated and detailed game like Phoenix Point. The sort of additional micromanagement is kind of it's not what I'm looking for in this kind of game. I kind of want a game to handle a lot of that stuff for me, just so I can focus on some of the more interesting tactical choices. But that said, I know a lot of people who are very into Phoenix Point, for whom, the lack of that kind of detailed control was what they didn't like about XCOM, and it was a breath of fresh air for them to find a game that actually was giving them that level of control. So, it's definitely, it's a taste thing. And yeah, so Death Crow's giving me some more feedback on State of Decay 2, which I will read in detail in a minute. But for now, we're almost out of time, and I've got a meeting pretty soon, so I should probably wrap this up. So I'll throw up the videos, and so click on one of those if you want to see more, or subscribe to my channel, or if you're watching this on Twitch, nothing happened, and I wasn't pointing at anything, and it was weird. But if you're on YouTube, hopefully that made sense.